So, hi Divya, you're a blogger, television presenter, anchor, singer, and an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
In
that's right.
particular order?
In particular order, actually, there's no particular order, though there is a chronological order. I
Right.
mean, there was a way that I went through all of it. There was a journey.
Uh-huh.
I first was a singer,
Hmm.
and then I became a stage anchor, and then I
Hmm.
became a television presenter.
Hmm.
Then I became an entrepreneur. So yeah, and then I became a blogger. So there was a chronological, I mean, there was an order, but
Sure.
there's no order of preference as such.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did stumble upon some of your blogs, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So as a singer, I think you sang a couple of songs, right? With one was that Hey Lamba Lamba Yan.
Yeah. So I've worked with a few music directors in India.
Uh-huh.
I started my career when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so don't ask me my age now, though. But I've been around for more than a decade. So
Okay.
I've been doing this for a very long time. I used to sing in on small stages, like I grew up in a family where everybody loved music,
Hmm.
and everybody was very pro getting into music. So as much as education was important, everybody thought that recreational activities and cultural activities were also very important.
Mm.
So I was trained in classical from a very young age,
Oh,
and
really?
just yeah, like every I think most South Indian families
Right,
like to do, like either it's Bharatanatyam or some form of dance or
right.
some sort of music. So my whole family was very keen on me learning Carnatic, and
Hmm.
I started at a very young age, and I had many breaks in between, many tutors in between, and then I started singing in temples. I used to do these devotional kacheris um, when I was much younger. So it started off like that, and then at some point, so there was no particular goal, I would say, to become a singer or actually even do any of the things that I ended up doing.
Hmm.
But what happened was I lived across a very popular music director called Devishri Prasad.
Hmm.
He
He's called.
yeah, he's big in the south. So he was making movies, and he was very popular in the Telugu film industry at that point.
Sure.
And he had been my neighbor for a very very long time. So
Hmm.
he was more like an elder brother to me. So
Hmm.
so very randomly one day he had called me because somebody he was supposed to record had missed a flight, and they couldn't record on that particular day.
Hmm.
and uh, and the whole set of the movie was waiting for the song to be recorded and sent so that they can shoot it.
Hmm.
So because of the time lag, or because of the time difference, the lack of time rather, he had called me because I just lived opposite,
Hmm.
and he knew that I sing, and he just called me saying, "I need a quick favor. Can you come to the studio?"
Hmm.
And I was very clueless because I was like, "For what?" And he said, "Just come."
Hmm.
So I went, and I went there, and he just gave me a paper with 4 lines, and he said, "I'll teach you the tune. I just want you to sing it,
Hmm.
and don't get scared," because I had never faced a recording mic before that.
Uh-huh.
So he said, "I want you to sing it, and I would. This is not going to release in your voice,
Hmm.
but actually, there's an actual singer who's coming to sing it, but she missed her flight, so I want you to sing it so that I can send it for shoot,
Hmm.
and then I'll redo it once the shoot is over."
Right.
So I was like, okay. I was very nervous, but I was like, okay, this is very absurd to me, but I'll do it. So
Hmm.
I sang it. It just so happened that 2 3 months later, and that was that. 2 3
Hmm.
months later, he randomly came home and he said, "I released it in your voice."
Ah.
Yeah, that's that was pretty much how my entire media career started.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I was very very surprised by how that happened, and he
Uh-huh.
said, "No, I played the track that you sang to the director of the movie.
Uh-huh.
uh, he had taken it for shoot, and he liked the voice, so he decided, why record it again, just keep the original voice that
Right.
sang it."
Right.
So I started singing like that,
Ah.
and I started getting a few more offers from the
Hmm.
Telugu. It was for a Telugu movie,
Hmm.
um, It was actually Chiranjeevi sir's big blockbuster. It was called Shankar Dada Zindabad, and it was for his movie. So
Ah.
it was very exciting for me. And when you're studying in college, this is like
Oh,
quite
yeah,
a yeah.
absolutely.
So it worked well, and then I started singing a little more on and off
Uh-huh.
with him and with a few other people. But I was still doing my education, so that was primarily what I was focusing on.
Mm.
But it so happened that I think it just went with the flow. Like I started singing, and then on simultaneously, because I used to sing, I used to go and perform on these small stages,
Mm.
and I got an offer in Kerala. When I was in Kerala, there was a man who walked up to me and my grandmom and
Mm.
asked me if I could host a Malayalam reality show.
Mm.
And I was like, are you kidding? I was like, no, because I was much younger. I actually both the languages I ended up doing reality shows in, Malayalam and Tamil, were
Uh-huh.
languages that I spoke very, very colloquially.
Okay.
They were not languages I was fluent in. I would speak Malayalam that was spoken at home. So doing something on television is a whole new ballgame.
Right.
And I was very against the idea in the beginning.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not doing this.
Are
But
any
after
of
a
these
lot of
languages, do they have the flavor? So, for example, I think I'm also in the same case that you are. But my Malayalam has sometimes a tinge of Tamil in it.
oh, it does it.
Yes.
I don't think no. So for me,
You
that's
don't
what
have.
I said. Like for me, my Malayalam doesn't have any tinge of Tamil in it
Uh,
because um, primarily grew up in a Malayali house, and I
okay.
through and through I spoke Malayalam to my grandparents,
Oh,
like
okay.
always.
Okay.
So I was that um, I don't think I have that
Oh,
mix.
that's good.
So I
Mm.
ended up thinking my Tamil would have more of a Malayalam mix
Yeah.
or English mix or something.
Right.
But I mean, my public opinion is that I don't. So I have I have somehow escaped the
Yeah, I haven't heard you
that
speak
comment.
Malayalam, but whatever Tamil I've heard, it's pretty. I mean, it's like a native speaker. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
something that I kind of developed over time.
Cool.
So I
So,
think it just started like that. So I just enjoyed how I started and how I got into each of it. It very gradually and organically happened.
right.
Each of those spaces, yeah.
And you do have a different kind of voice, right? It's not normally one of those high pitched
Yeah.
dubbing voices that you hear in the movie.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a good thing because
But
the high pitched voice sometimes even crack glass, I guess. So,
okay, then I'm going to take that as a compliment.
yeah,
Yeah, I do have a I mean it has its I think it has its pros and cons. I think every voice has its pros and cons, and I
right.
think for me it worked quite well. Um, I don't know particularly for my voice, but when I got into anchoring, a lot of people have come and told me that I have, like you said, I have a very distinct voice, and they recognize it anywhere
Right.
in
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu at least. So I was only happy to, happy that my voice got recognized in that manner.
Yeah. I heard also the Ambalapura song.
Oh, that was recent. That is like how you started this. That was literally quarantine jam.
Yeah, the DD jam as you call it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
So my brother,
who was the one who's playing the guitar?
my brother.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so I have a younger brother, and
Uh-huh.
literally like my best friend. So
Yeah.
he and I have like when we were much younger, and when we started, he also was asked to learn Carnatic music and pushed into the classical field, and he grew out of it. And then at one point
Right.
he was like, I don't want to do this, and I want to learn the drums. And then he did the drums for a bit. Then he grew out of that, and then he said, I want to learn the guitar.
Huh.
So, guitar is something that he picked up on his own.
Uh-huh.
And so whenever we get together, like we just jam, like we just chill. That's our way of
He's
probably
good at it.
expressing.
Yeah, pretty good at the guitar actually.
Yeah, yeah,
You're using a
yeah.
capo and all that.
Learn.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, and also I think you've done a fair bit of modeling too, right? Shakti Exports, Tamil Nadu Mercantile
Oh
Bank.
wow, where did you get all that? Yeah, actually. So
You haven't tried
modeling,
acting?
yeah, I did a few ads. I
Uh-huh.
did actually have many ads when I was much younger. I can't
Okay.
find them anywhere. I've actually looked quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
But when I was a child, my mom used to take me to these, ad shoots.
Uh,
And I've done quite a few ads when I was much younger. Like I've done Krypton Sweets and Lidget Puppet and like
oh.
Britannia. And like I've done various ads. So even I don't remember them.
Uh-huh.
But then obviously there was a huge gap between that and the later part of my life,
Right.
which just happened. I was not looking to model or any of it when I was studying in college. Again, somebody had come to college to audition girls, like college girls, for ads
Mm.
that they were shooting, and I got picked out, and I did one or two ads when I was 18, 19, 20 types. And then I just started like that. Like, so when I get a call, I look at what I want to do. If I'm actually, if I feel like I'm going through a monotonous phase in my
Mhm.
career, then I switch. Then I start doing other things as well.
Uh-huh.
So modeling was just one of those things. It was never like I'm very passionate about my anchoring and about my singing and about even blogging
Uh-huh.
and my business.
Uh-huh.
But modeling is, I don't think, is my cup of tea.
Oh, yeah, but you, I mean, at least ones that I saw were pretty good, were pretty well done.
Thank
We
you.
haven't talked about your being an entrepreneur. So, what exactly do you do?
So I started a label. I started a sari label.
Uh-huh.
It is called Dwij. It's actually spelled as DVIJ. My
Uh-huh.
name is Divya Vijay.
Right.
So it's a part of my name, and it also in Sanskrit means a new beginning.
Ah.
So so I thought it was very apt for my
Mm.
business,
Mm.
and the reason I started it was I was say I'm a person who's never ever worked in a corporate, or I've never worked in an employed setup
Mm.
rather.
Mm.
I was always a freelancer,
Mm.
and before I even knew what a job was, I had started working. That was when I was in college.
Mm.
So I've only known this life for a very long time.
Mm.
So I love the the highs of being your own boss,
Mm.
or making your own decisions.
Mhm.
So I feel like being an entrepreneur was something that was at the back of my mind, but I
Mm.
didn't know how and when, and I would like to start something and what I really wanted to
Mhm.
to get into,
Mm.
because I was when I was doing anchoring, then I was very busy doing that.
Right.
So it took me a while of time to understand what I wanted to branch out to. And I realized that a lot of people around me have helped me realize that, because
Mhm.
clothing is one thing that I'm extremely passionate about, Indian clothing,
Mm.
and especially saris. So
Mhm.
when I used to, I started making my own saris. So for every occasion in India, in at home, or for weddings in our family, or
Mm.
a friend's wedding or whatever, I used to make my own sari.
Mm.
Uh, Instead of buying that, I would source the fabric, and I would put designs together and like put
Wow.
colors together. Yeah, so I started doing it like that,
So you used to
and
make
then
a block and things like that? You used to make a block and print it physically? Is it what
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I've done various things with fabric.
Vegetable dyes and all that?
Sorry.
Vegetable dyes?
So we've used different kinds of things like actually I've done embroidery, I've done dyeing, I've done weaving, like that's what I'm saying, like different kinds of things.
Literally the
So
whole 9 yards, no pun intended.
yeah, pretty much. So I think at one point I was like, I want to get in. I didn't know if I wanted to get into this until people started telling me or taking notice of what I was wearing,
Mm.
and would ask me, where is this from?
Mm.
And only then people around me started saying, when people are asking you, why are you not making it for them?
Mm.
Like, why do you only keep this to yourself? So my brother is actually the one who actually pushed me to do it. He
Wow.
was like, when you're getting so many inquiries every time you go out on a sari, I think you should just start doing this for other people as well.
Mm.
So then I sat down one day, and then we created a business model for it. And that's how it started. Like, I started sourcing fabric. I started traveling all around India to source and meet vendors and weavers and all of that. And slowly built on it.
Oh,
And
good.
it,
How's it
yeah, it's
now?
been 2 3 years, and it's been really good. It's been good so
Okay.
far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you able to run this remotely? Are you able to do it from here,
So,
sitting in Luxembourg?
no, I haven't been able to do it ever since I got here.
Mm-hmm.
But, and and then I don't think it's because I'm here. It's purely because it's COVID time. Yeah, I think so. When I moved here, I was still intending to run it from here,
Mm-hmm.
with my unit there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard now because due to COVID time, everybody is
Yeah.
like work, and it's not great to be running a business. And who's going to buy anyway? Everybody's not on the shopping spree right now. So I've taken a break from it.
Mm.
And when I say a break, it's a few months. And
Right.
I'm hoping when the world bounces even close to back to close normal,
Yeah.
I will go back to it. So I
Yeah.
intend to go keep flying back and forth when I need to, and
Mm-hmm.
have a unit there on it for me.
That's cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, apparently there's going to be a mad scramble after everything is over.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I can see it coming.
yeah, so you have 34.5K followers on Instagram. So that's a you
Yeah, I recently
would
made
you fit
my
into the bracket of being an influencer? You probably are.
no. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I don't know what I influence people with, honestly, because I think a lot of people use the word influencer very easily,
Right.
and and I don't know what exactly we're influencing people with.
Right.
So I choose to only like I don't know if you've noticed, like there are very few things that I speak about very strongly on Instagram or on my blog. I put up a lot of photographs of me, but then if I have to talk about something, then I choose to know about it, and I choose to say only if I really have a say on it, not because
Right.
the world is talking about it.
Right.
So I think it's important because I think from the world I came and from the industry that I work in, I think it is very important to understand that everybody looks to people in media
Hmm.
to pinpoint or to get influenced by or to understand or to ape, like any of those.
Hmm.
So I think it's very important what you put out there.
Hmm.
You can't just say things. What you can't say whatever comes to your mind. And I
Yeah, absolutely. You can't say things willy-nilly and, because there is a certain amount of responsibility that comes along with that.
exactly, and I think that's something that my parents drilled in me because I like to call myself. I think I'm quite vocal about things that I want to be vocal about, but
Hmm.
I'm also very choosy about what I want to be vocal about.
Right.
So I think to influence people, you can influence if it's a good thing. Like if you think people are moving towards sustainable fashion now, if people are going to use fabric more wisely,
Hmm.
or like I'm saying, I'm giving you an example.
Sure,
Like
sure, sure.
then great. Like
Yeah.
it's a great thing to influence people with.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't want to influence people just for the sake of influencing people, like, or just for the sake of putting something out there and getting paid for it. So I
Right.
would choose and say, yeah, I hope I can make some difference to some people in ways that I think is great.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That as long as that responsibility that's associated with, or rather, responsibility that's required for a person who's
Yeah.
a certain amount of following.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read some of your blogs too, and some of them are pretty interesting. So wondering who the monster is you. We, we have to understand decades of pervasive conditioning passed on from generation to generation. Yeah. So yeah, I've got two daughters and a son, so I'm
Oh.
yeah.
I don't even want to ask you what that's going to be like.
Yeah. So, uh, but you can see from my gray hair that I'm kind of a little dated about these things. So, when you say men and women are equal, yes, they are equal, 100%. I don't
Yeah.
deny. But
Yeah.
the equality is not the same. Like, for example, you had said if a boy went out and came back at 10 in the night,
Yeah.
would be as worried as a woman.
Yeah.
So, if you had check boxes, like if you had mental strength, I would take it for the woman. If you
Yeah.
had physical strength, I would take it for the man.
Yeah.
So, do you think that kind of makes is equal the right word, or is it that the sum total of the qualities are the same?
Now, so it's a
I know
topic
it's
that
some,
I've had so many discussions about. So personally, and I don't know if I'll get into trouble saying this, but I'm not somebody who goes out there saying I can do everything a man does. I'm not one of those girls.
Okay.
And
I agree.
that's what I said. So I don't know if I'll get into trouble for this. There'll be a lot of people who are going to like shoot me down for this. But I believe that there's a reason why the world is created in a particular way, or people or human beings are created in a particular way. And I believe that women, there's a reason why women can reproduce and men cannot. And vice versa. There are things that men can do and women cannot.
Right.
And I think it's important as a woman and as a man to understand that difference and coexist.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's very difficult to see. I know there are generations of women who have suffered under bad men or people who have abused them or any of this, and I will never support any of that. There is no question that that is justified because you're not equal. It's not.
Right.
Like none of that is justified.
Right.
But I also think that today, as there is more and more, people are more and more conscious about equality and about how men and women and gender, like whatever, like, the gender differentiation and all of that. Like, I feel like the more and more people are talking about it, people are also they have a misplaced idea of what equality is,
Exactly.
or about what feminism is, or any of that. Like, I think it's overused and it's used in the wrong context. And I just think that if you're born a woman, and if you're just born a human being to have a particular right, like that is not because you're born a woman or a man. Like you have to learn to coexist with another person in harmony, in peace, and that's all that matters. So you have to accept the fact that there are certain things that a man can do better than you, and equally, I will tell every man, there are certain things a woman can do better than you. You just have to agree and accept and just move on.
100% true.
Yeah, and that's just my opinion on equality. So I don't think I think people who talk only about women, women should have this and women should have that, should also understand that there are a lot of men also who don't have what women have. And yes, we live in a society that is progressing, and it's great that we're progressing in a direction where people are able to understand the difference. But there are also a huge part of society that don't understand the difference. So it's very important to put it out there that don't fight for a cause that you don't understand. So that's pretty much my take.
That's pretty mature for a girl of your age, lady of your age, whichever way you want to take it. Yeah, that's exactly what I also had, in my mind. These are some of the discussions we used to have at home too.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from my home, where my mom and my dad work, and my mom and my dad cook. My mom like they run the house together. So there are a lot of things. My mom cooks more than my dad, but my dad does a lot of handyman things in the house more than my mom. Sure. So, there are things that my mom is not great at, and she very openly says, I'm not great at this. Like, I can't hammer a nail into the wall. Can you get your dad to do it? So I grew up in a setup like that. Whereas my dad is very openly admitted that there are a lot of things your mother does better than me. Mom is great at administrative work. So I just feel like there is no hard and fast rule that one person should only be able to do this and cannot be able to do that, and that person is better. And there's nothing like that.
Exactly.
I just think you should, when you live with somebody, or when you even are in society, or in your job, or at your workspace, or wherever, at a social do, you just have to respect that other person's a human being, and you could be bad at certain things, and that person could be good, or vice versa, and just move on.
That's a comforting thought. So the world is safe. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was your comparing of that. I think it was LD. I think it was very cerebral. How many people got what you said about aura and stuff? I mean,
yeah. That was a while ago.
Yeah. Do you run those dangers of being cerebral too much when you compare stuff in, say, average, middle, what should I call it without sounding too patriarchal? You know what I'm saying, right?
So I don't know, honestly. Like, I say what just comes to my mind. And I don't try and fit into a particular,
You don't.
yeah, I don't. Like, I don't.
You
I
don't.
try, see, there are a lot of things, especially when you're an anchor or a compere, there's a lot of, so there are some parts of it that you really enjoy because you're given the freedom to speak the way you want to and
Mhm.
express the way you want to.
Mm.
And then there are other parts of it where you have to stick to a script or you have to stick to a particular way of talking or, and I've been through both. And I've been through both where I have had to scream my lungs out at, at some shows where you have to keep the euphoria going.
Right, right.
Yeah. And it's not my style, but I do it because that's what is demanded of you from the job.
Okay.
So you do that because some shows fall flat because of if you're going to speak like how you speak it in a corporate at a concert,
Mm.
then it falls flat.
Mm.
So I think with experience and with time, you start realizing that you can't just always have this thing that this is my way of talking and this is the only way I will talk.
Right.
You will have to go with the flow a little bit. Yeah, you can stay. I would say I tried staying true to the core of my talking ability, but
Mm.
I here and there twisted it a little bit to serve the audience as well.
Mm. Yes, that's what I noticed when you were talking about aura and you asked some people questions, they would have a blank face. They didn't know what they were saying.
Yeah. You get it a lot. Like in
Yeah.
fact,
I mean,
there
unless
are shows.
you have to feed off the crowd, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have been to just not my experience. I have seen so many friends of mine perform on stage as singers, as
Uh,
performers, some of the finest artists in the country, in fact. I
right.
have seen them get on stage where an extremely quiet crowd would be sitting in the audience,
Mm.
and they would be singing their lungs out and jumping and performing and all of that. And after the first two songs, their enthusiasm and their excitement is just dead. Like after that, they just like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna hold a mic and just get it over with and get my paycheck and go, because
Yeah.
you're not getting enough of responsiveness from the other side.
Very true.
So stage is totally about that. I think it's totally you feed off the audience and audience's energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you need.
I've had a mix of both.
So, would you say the icing on the cake was your super singer stint, or that is?
Of course. I
Yeah.
think I think that's till today. It's funny. It's been a couple of years since I've been on that show,
Mhm.
but I think till today I'm so grateful that even the people who write to me on Instagram, people who write to me on Twitter, they still write to me about this, and they don't like. I've done so many shows after that, and
Mhm.
it's still stuck in their head that I'm super singer Divya, and I think it's um like I've seen people say, like don't call me Vijay TV, like Vijay TV, like whatever name, like or super singer so and so or whatever, and I've always taken that as a compliment. I've said if somebody can relate and tag you to a show or tag you to a channel, that means they've watched. That
Right.
means they have watched it long enough to know that you are associated with that. And
Right.
that's a compliment. And I think that's a great compliment,
Mm.
because I feel like um, it's the show that gave me my identity. It totally changed my life in a lot of ways.
Mm.
When I was still figuring out what I wanted to do, and I was out of college, and I was thinking I will get into advertising, or
Mm.
I actually wanted to. I still wanted to work in media, but then I wanted to do the back end part of it. So
Mm.
I was never a person who thought I would be the front face
Mm.
of a show. I was always a person who thought I would be the person behind it.
Right.
So I was very grateful when it happened to me.
Mm.
Initially, I struggled quite a bit because Tamil was not my mother tongue. It was a language that I didn't know very well.
Mm.
And, it came with a set of challenges. It came with a lot of comment and criticism
Mhm.
in the beginning of my career. But I think it kind of pushed me to get better with time.
Mm.
It pushed me to and I have a lot of people to thank for it. Like I think the entire channel and the show and my director and my entire set was so unbelievably supportive
Mm.
um, of of me just faltering and faltering and faltering on the set.
Uh,
For days together, I would go and I would say the dialogue wrong and I would make them take 40, 50 retakes and they were so patient.
mhm.
And I think that's what got me to have a life. But because I think their confidence paid off in the long run for me.
Great.
And it's a show that kind of turned my life around. It's a show that went from a lot of criticism to a lot of I had many well wishers after that. So I think I was very, very happy that that happened to me.
Oh, that's
And,
great. So,
and yeah,
go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
No, and with time, I'm just saying what followed was also great. Like what followed was I started to travel, I started doing shows, and like that comes from a successful show. So I think it kind of paid off in a lot of ways.
Hmm. So the way you describe it, I'm getting this impression that it's scripted in a way. Is it scripted by?
Oh no! So Super Singer is a show that so there are parts that are scripted,
Uh-huh.
and so when I went on the show, I told you I didn't know Tamil.
Okay.
So the only request I had made of the channel was that I cannot work with a script because I don't know Tamil and I can't read Tamil.
Okay.
So I had told them that, if you are telling me that the reason you want me to do the show is because I'm like, they called me the next door girl. So I was like, if that's my image, then I'm going to stick to how I talk on a regular day basis.
Okay.
But yeah, I know I have to master the language and I have to get better at the language, but you have to just let me be me. I cannot be by-hearting lines in my head and without knowing the language and without knowing the
nuance
tone or whatever. So it's very difficult to deliver that. So luckily for me, I had a fantastic director. She was so good, and she said the stage is all yours. You can go and you can make it your own, and let's see how this works in favor. She said, and the thing is that she said, I am willing to take the risk. If it doesn't work, then we will see. So what happened was that I think that gave me a lot of confidence to just go on stage and just be myself and just talk to the kids. And I started with a show with kids. So I just went and I connected with kids, and I loved hanging out with them on the set, and I would just talk to them like how I talk to them otherwise, but with a musical, format attached.
Right.
So the only times I've ever had to work a script out for maybe in the 3 or 4 years I did this show, I would have worked with a script maybe like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's the only time they've ever come and told me that this is a very serious round and you have to work on a script, and I'm requesting you to please do a little bit of homework, and which I have. And also, like when you do live shows, like Super Singer has a humongous finale every year, and it's a huge stage with a lot of people watching live, and of course, it's a live show, so it's not just the 20,000 or 15,000 people sitting in front of you. It's also people all around the world watching at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that was scripted for the first 15 minutes show. Like you have to open with a script. And then after that, you can go with the flow and talk to the contestants and all of that.
Okay.
So that 15 minutes, I think, is the only time I have ever been nervous about scripting.
So did you have some kind of a monitor in front of you or anything? Or you just had to have...
No monitor, no nothing.
Oh, God. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. It's quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And I think on that show you had Srinivas, Sujata, and Unikrishnan, right? 3 of them were the judges.
So there were the junior season was always Chitra Chichi, Shubha Mudgal, Shubha, the Tamil singer Shubha, and Mano sir.
Okay.
They were the judges on the kids show, and then there was a senior contestant show on which it was Srini sir and Sujata Chichi. Yeah, so like it was a different set of and Unyata. They were the ones who were doing the senior show.
Okay.
So I worked with both of them like in one season, alternate seasons.
Okay. I've heard Mano is quite a comedian.
Yeah, he is. He's always cracking jokes on the set and making everybody laugh and all that. Yeah.
So do you keep in touch with any of them still?
I
WhatsApp?
keep in touch with a lot of people. I keep in
Uh-huh.
touch with Srini sir and Sudhar Chichi quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them had come for my wedding as well. So like they have been well wishers of mine, and they've always blessed me. And like I have a long history with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shweta and I are very good friends. So
Okay.
Shweta and I, we sang together, I think many years ago, like
Ah.
way before I got into media, way before she became a singer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we used to go to the same Malayali club in Chennai.
And
So we used to literally go there and sing.
mm-hmm.
So we've known each other since that time. So I've known their
Okay.
family. And Srini sir is extremely special to me because he's the one who actually kickstarted my career.
Ah.
So yeah, I told you, right, like for this Malayalam show that I did,
Right.
he was the one who recommended me as an anchor.
Ah.
He's
Okay.
the one who, yeah, so he's the one who actually called my name out for Gandharva Sangeetam in Kairali
Uh-huh.
and for Super Singer in Vijay.
Ah.
And I got to know this much later in life, but like he was the one who actually said, "Why don't we try her?"
Oh, wow.
So I've had a fantastic relationship, and his daughters are very like they're also good friends, and
Okay.
like so they're all. So I keep in touch with them. I keep in touch with Chitra Chechi on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I went to meet her before my wedding. Like how I do keep in touch with. Unyata is a family friend. Unikrishnan,
Ah. Okay.
yeah, like Unyata's mom and my grandmom are very close friends.
Ah.
So so yeah, like I think it was more like family on set when I did it.
Yeah.
So I do keep in touch with some of them.
Cool. So yeah, it's quite refreshing to hear, your viewpoint about so many things that we spoke about.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, and it's refreshing to know that people of your age, at least, have such grounded ideas about life and stuff, and it's encouraging, really. So
Yeah, thank you. I take that as a compliment. I think that's more of a compliment to my parents than me. But
obviously, I mean, it's a lot depends upon the kind of family that you grow up with, but then you have bad eggs in every family too. So
yeah, I agree. I think I always say a lot of it is where you come from, but a lot of it is what you make of yourself also. So
absolutely.
yeah, so I think it's good that I had a great foundation to work on. So somehow I worked on it over time.
Good. So thank you, Divya. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. And
Thank you so much. This was so much. Actually, this was very nice. I'm doing I'm doing an actually nice chat after a very long time. I recently did something, but I'm talking about all aspects of my career after a very long time. So thank you. I should thank you for it. And I'm hoping you continue doing this, and I should watch all of your shows.
thank
Let me know when your next podcast is as well.
I certainly will. And please feel free to critique.
Oh, I don't think I'm great at that, but yeah, I will. I will definitely let you know how this. I want to see myself and watch this, and then I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Then.
you. Thank
You have
you.
a
Yes,
nice day.
you too.
Bye.
Bye.